Was it like this, or was it more... Did you long for something a little more funky? Would you have sung a bit louder if you got to be a pirate? Well, we've got it. My name's Catherine Everson, and I'm the director of Mosaic Music Education Limited. I'm a saxophonist and composer, but to most of the people that I work with in my week, I'm their music teacher. In September 2014, with the aid of a Deutsche Bank Award for Creative Enterprise, I set up Mosaic in order to address some of the issues I've encountered during my 10 years as an instrumental teacher. In the year 2000, the government stated that every primary school child should have the opportunity to learn an instrument at school. As the most efficient way to deliver this, whole-class instrumental teaching programmes were rolled out across the UK. These are generally delivered by music services, and although they take place in classes of 30, you don't actually have to have a teaching qualification to deliver this kind of lesson, and in some music services, you don't even have to have a music degree. Put yourself in the shoes of a new whole-class instrumental teacher. You turn up on your first day, only to discover that there's actually no curriculum for instrumental teaching. Armed with a copy of Mary Had a Little Lamb, you stand in front of your class and are horrified when after 20 minutes they've only just put their instruments together and are still holding it the wrong way round. You teach them how to make a sound, but only 2 out of 30 children manage it. Now what? One of the boys in the back row's eyes light up as he realises his flute would be far more effective as a lightsaber. Don't do that. But year 4 boys are like dogs and they can smell fear. He looks you straight in the eye and clouts his friend with it. You turn around to see the class teacher popping out to do some marking, and you're on your own. Now what? The answer for most people that I know who have been left in similar situations was cry in the toilets for a bit and then quit teaching. We want things to be different. We want to enable teachers to deliver outstanding instrumental lessons, even if they're inexperienced, and we want to engage children in inspiring music making, even if they can only play one note. We do this in 2 ways. The first is resources. Our website, mosaicmusiced.com, is an online interactive resource for whole-class instrumental teaching. It contains our specially designed curriculum, which contains the recommendations from the Key Stage 2 National Curriculum for Music, as well as Ofsted's recommendations, and promotes best practice in instrumental teaching. Our resources are specially designed by experienced musicians and instrumental teachers and engage children in singing, playing, composing, improvising, and listening to music from a wide range of different genres. Each lesson comes with a detailed lesson plan, and each exercise with a step-by-step teacher's guide, so that regardless of their level of experience, each teacher can get the maximum potential out of every activity. As well as resources, we also offer professional development and training. Since beginning our pilot scheme 9 months ago, we have delivered inset to the staff of 3 music services and also run a 5-week professional development programme for non-music specialist teachers in a Hackney primary school. We're in the process of devising a series of 1- and 2-day courses, which we intend to run from September. These will be aimed at teachers new to instrumental teaching, as well as prospective instrumental teachers, such as final year music students at universities and conservatoires. Since September, we've been working with 7 music services, 4 schools, as well as a number of individual instrumental teachers. These have become our pilot group. In total, we have 37 teachers registered on our site, all of whom have been using our woodwind and brass curriculum and resources. The feedback so far has been overwhelmingly positive, and we're confident that, having had discussions with some of our pilot group, that the majority of music services will increase the annual subscriptions that they buy from us in September this year. We've been working particularly closely with Redbridge and Hertfordshire music services, both of whom are excited by our resources and are incredibly supportive of our aims. These 2 services have got excellent reputations and are considered 2 of the best in the country. Hertfordshire is also one of the largest music services in the country with over 600 instrumental teachers. We believe that the best way to ensure success is by working together with music services. This is working brilliantly so far, and we're already in the process of incorporating their feedback into the second version of our website. We'll measure our success not only by the number of customers that we attract each year, but also, more importantly, how successfully we retain our customers at the end of their annual subscription period. The next step for us is to invest further in the development of our website. We're currently running a prototype version, an upgrade of which should cost around £5,000. Improving its functionality and adding necessary features such as student access. We intend to complete this development by the end of 2016 in time to launch it fully in January 2017. We also want to meet the demands of string and ukulele resources and increase the amount of instrumental curriculums we can offer. Each curriculum costs £3,000 to commission, and we intend to raise the majority of this money through licence sales. As we continue to expand, we want to take on the challenge of raising standards in primary school classroom music, where teachers are often non-musicians struggling to teach coherent music lessons. In September 2017, we'll launch our Key Stage 1 curriculum resources for primary school, as well as corresponding training programmes for primary school teachers. With 123 music hubs in the UK, as well as nearly 17,000 primary schools, we believe that our potential for growth is significant. We've met with Matt Smith, CEO of the Education Group, as well as Richard Morris, the former Chief Executive of the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music, both of whom showed an interest in Mosaic, and have agreed to set up meetings with the Associated Board and with international music education providers when our product is fully ready. In order to get ourselves to that point, and in order to grow effectively, we need to take on financial investment. We're currently seeking a loan of £6,000 to cover the development of our website, as well as to kickstart our commissioning process. Currently, I work part-time on the business, and I'm the sole director of the company. Further investment would also allow me to take a small wage, which would mean that I could commit more time to the business as well. We have a team of freelance composers and teachers, a graphic designer and a website developer that we work closely with, but we're also keen to take on someone with experience in marketing as soon as we can afford to do so. Besides Mosaic, there are other online resources on the market. The most established of these is Churanga, which operates in over 80 of the UK's 123 music hubs and retails at £150 to £200 for an annual teacher's licence. Churanga dominate the market as the first company to provide resources for this kind of music. They have proven that there's demand, however, the quality of their resources, both musically and educationally, is often up for discussion. Our primary aim is to raise standards in music education, and we know that resources alone don't do that. We believe that the support and guidance that we provide to teachers, the quality of our resources, and our easy-to-use technology set us apart from our competitors, as well as the inbuilt CPD making the product better value for money. We've set our prices in line with Churanga at £150 for an instrumental teacher licence and £200 for a primary school. Over the next 2 years, we want to expand the number of music services and schools we're working with significantly, building our reputation as a quality provider. We want to run regular courses to support and train both primary school teachers and instrumental teachers, and to be making a real impact on the front line of music education in the UK. Beyond our courses, eventually we'd like to offer free online resources for the ongoing development of musicianship and musical understanding in primary school teachers. We'd also like to create resources for individual instrumental lessons, bringing the old-fashioned tutor book into the 21st century by adding online support for children learning an instrument. We want our website to become a hive of activity for music educators, a place to go to view videos on best practice, blogs on the latest in music education, and where teachers of all levels of experience can go to develop their skills and gain inspiration. Eventually, we want our curriculums to become the curriculums for primary school music and for instrumental music. We want to drive a much-needed change in music education in the UK by enabling expertly delivered, fun, illuminating music teaching across the UK. I'll leave you with a video from the Facebook page of one of our pilot schools.
Thank you very, very much. That was very interesting, and you've made such a lot of progress in such a short period. And thank you for your 35-page business plan.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Which kept us certainly took some time to read. One of the things I suppose that I was slightly concerned about was that there were so many things going on, and there's just you largely as resourcing. And so tell me, what are the 1 or 2, 3 key things that have got to happen next? Because you talked, in your presentation about, bringing more teaching in, more teacher training. You're going to be out there selling yourself to more music services. So you've got to sort the website out. So I was just a bit concerned that there was a lot going on for one person to manage.
Yeah.
So perhaps just give us some priorities.
Well, I think the biggest thing, really, I'm going to stand up actually because it's easier. I think the biggest thing is the website. We're in a point at the moment where we can't let it go any further than it is unless we fix the things that need fixing with it, and also unless we sort of start to expand our instrumental programmes. So that's the big priority for us right now. I think because of that, we're quite fortunate that once the website is set up, the expansion in terms of music services using the resources will take care of itself without any extra kind of input from me. That's not a massive administrative task because it's all there and it's just a case of issuing licenses. But then with other things in terms of courses, we can take people on to run those on a course-by-course basis initially before we start to retain somebody to do that permanently, which would hopefully be the next step after that. And also the same with anything else. I feel like as the kind of the resources, the finance comes in from the resources, that we can hope to start to employ more people to help us with that, because there's no question that that is an impractical amount of work for one person. I'm very, very aware of that.
And what's your vision, say, in 5 years' time, if everything goes?
I think in 5 years' time, I'd really like to have it being used across the UK by a large number of music services using those resources, and for it to be having a genuine impact on the standard of music teaching. That's the big thing for me, wherever we do it. And the same for sort of primary school classroom teachers as well. It really is born out of a need from what I've seen in music education for more training and more kind of resources and more help on that front, because it's very, very lacking in a lot of cases.
Thank you.
It's very obvious that primary school music teaching needs to be improved. Can you sort of take me through a class of 30 children? You need 30 recorders to start with, or 30 ukuleles, or and a typical school would have facility to buy or have those instruments.
So how it works, there's kind of 2 branches that we're looking into. One is the whole class instrumental teaching, which you're talking about, where every child in the class needs to have an instrument. And that's normally bought in by the school. It's provided by a music service, which are the people that we're working with to deliver the resources and also to deliver the training to their teachers. So that happens in music services who then go into schools. And then the other branch of it is curriculum music, so day-to-day classroom music, where schools that can't afford that kind of provision or don't have it, or also sometimes on top of that provision, have teachers that are not music specialists that have to deliver music as part of the curriculum. So the bottom line is, however it happens, music has to happen in primary school. Some places do it by buying it in, and some places have to do it internally. And the problem that we saw with the video of the school in Basildon, where the teacher was having to deliver a curriculum music lesson on her own without any support, happens across the country all the time. So that's the other thing we want to address by providing training and also providing resources that don't need instruments, or at least only use instruments that sort of use standard music instruments that you would find in a classroom, like percussion, glockenspiels and that sort of thing as well. So it's kind of both sides of that, really.
But is that what Chiranga is doing as well? Is that, are they
they
teaching the whole
have
class?
they have both of those things.
Yeah.
Thank you. But actually, just pick up on the point about Chiranga. I mean, they're in the market, they're dominating the market, and from what I understand here, they've got a very wealthy parent company. So resource isn't an issue for them, and scalability isn't an issue for them. How are you going to persuade people to go with you rather than the established player?
I think by providing an alternative. Chiranga haven't had
what will be the alternative? What are the key bits of the alternative that you're going to be selling?
I think the quality of the resources, particularly, I know there is sort of discontent among music services that I've spoken to with the quality of Chiranga's resources. They dominate because they have provided something where there was nothing. So the fact that you can now go into or call Charanga up and say, we need something to provide curriculum music, or we need something to provide an instrumental program for our teachers that have never taught before, there's something there. And so I think in that case, people are kind of going to that as a default. Whereas if there is an alternative, and there are starting to be alternatives on the market, there's a couple of smaller companies as well that are popping up trying to challenge for that. As there's more alternative, I think the standards will go up, and also it will be really good for us as well. The more companies on the market, the better that will be, I think.
Is there a reason why you're not charging more than Charanga if you're stressing your quality over theirs? Is there a reason why you've decided to pitch it at the same price?
Yeah, I think initially just to sort of tempt people over. I think it's always easier to go with what you've already got. So I think it's hard to kind of tempt people away from that initially. So the idea is to go in line with them, and then maybe at a later date, maybe that will go up if, you know, as our offer increases. But I think at the time being, it wouldn't be sensible to go above Charanga.
Anything else?
Yep. No, good.
I think our time's up, so
Brilliant.
thank you very much.
Thank you
That was
very much.
very, very interesting.